Hey everybody, Chris at Gadgets and Gravel. So I recently got back from a trip to New York to the Catskills Mountains in Scribner's Lodge. I was sent there as part of a group from with AllTrails, the hiking and outdoor enthusiast platform where it is everything for everybody at every skill level if you love the outdoors. But they sent me there to unveil 6 new features and a new membership level, and these things are cool. So let's go through those, what you can expect to see, and some of the things that AllTrails is about that it was good for me to learn firsthand. So stick around. So like I said, to start this, AllTrails did send me and some other members of the media and influencers to this event and hiking in New York. While they sent me there and showed everything off, they're not getting a preview of this video or any insight into its content. So I wanna make that clear. But what they did do is show off their 6 new features, talked a lot about the platform, where it's been when it started 15 years ago and where it's at now and going, as well as a lot of the efforts in land conservation and how it's kind of helping bring hiking and the outdoors to a more accessible group, making it more, I guess accessible is just the right word for this, making this something that everybody can do and feel comfortable doing, and make it a social event. While hiking and being outdoors is an amazing thing when you're alone and solitary and kind of getting just kind of immerse yourself in nature, it's amazing. But getting to go out there and share it with friends is also an exciting thing. So it's a really cool part of AllTrails. So let's get into some of the things that we've found out and what is coming. So let's start talking a little bit about the land conservation, and we'll go to some of the new features here in a moment. As you'd expect, AllTrails is all about nature and the outdoors. So part of that is helping to conserve it and make it accessible for everybody. So with that, they live by 3 core principles. That's protect the trails, protect the planet, and expand access for all. So with that, a lot of these new features that they've announced help enhance the features that are already there and add some new features to the platform that help make that possible across the board on all 3 cores. AllTrails is also part of the 1% group, so they pledge 1% of the company's profits towards conservation efforts and things of that nature. So that's really great to see a company stepping up and doing that, especially when it's so involved in a company as large as AllTrails. It can be easy to start to lose focus of why you're the platform you are. These programs and things that AllTrails does kind of helps me feel better about the company as a whole and their efforts towards making the planet and the trails and everything people enjoy that much better. But it also shows that the company cares about the people using it by trying to find ways to make it accessible to everybody. While I was at the event with the AllTrails people, many of the top leadership was there presenting these ideas, hanging out with everybody and going hiking with everybody. And these are some really passionate people that really care about its user base, people that want to learn more about hiking and hiking itself. So this is really great to see. So as part of the land conservation efforts, they also work with a lot of different departments from state, federal, international departments trying to help preserve and enhance the outdoors and hiking in different environments like that. For a few years now, the program has been granting access to these different departments and groups to allow them to access the back end of AllTrails for using data that will help them improve the trails by knowing how much traffic trails are getting. So maybe they need to rotate to a different trail to help that one not get so worn down, so they can let it revive itself for future use. So there's a lot of different ways that these different organizations are able to use the information that AllTrails has to enhance things. Now this is all done anonymously, so none of your information is being transferred to any of these other groups. But the information that these land groups can use to help preserve the land is amazing, and it's so great to see AllTrails being part of this group and helping to lead that down into the future for more people to enjoy nature, hikes, and the outdoors overall. So let's get into some of these features that AllTrails introduced and we got to see a little bit of, and they're launching now and some this summer. Before we talk about all the new features that we're getting, let's talk about the new tier. So there's a basic and a premium tier that have been around for a while now. Both tiers allow you to access, all the trails and everything you want to see. Obviously with the premium, you get a few extra features with it. So this new platform or new membership level that they're introducing is called Peak. It's gonna be $79.99 a year, and it's gonna include all these new features and everything that's behind in the other 2 tiers as well. So just kind of want to get that out of the way before we start getting into all the additional features that we've got, because I think adding this new tier will allow there to be a little more flexibility for users depending on your level of interest in hiking, your experience level, and just maybe the information you want to know as you're starting hiking or as you're expanding your knowledge and time out there on the trail. So being able to do this gives users a little more customization as far as how much they need or want to kind of experience that across the board and change as they need. So Peak is the new tier for the AllTrails app that'll include all the 6 features we're getting ready to talk about, including all the other features that have come before it in the other tiers. So let's get into the features now. First off, we've got points of interest, or POIs. This new feature is going to be included in all the tiers, so basic, premium, and peak. So you can expect to see this across the board regardless what tier you decide to choose. So points of interest is really what it is. So it's giving you new points of interest along the trail. So as you choose trails and you're exploring different areas, it'll actually bring up little bubbles along the trail, and you can tap on those and it'll show you information about that area, you know, things you're going to see there, show you some photos that people have taken there and uploaded to the system. AllTrails has added over 500,000 points of interest and over 200,000 photos to this feature. And this is really kind of cool. They've always kind of had the ability to kind of see things that are on the trail, but this kind of highlights that, makes it easier to find. So you don't have to dig around so much. And it makes it a little more exposed in terms of what you're going to see on the trail and help you decide what trails you want to see, because if you can kind of see points of interest in the area, you may want to take a trail that you weren't planning to initially because it's got things that you'd rather see on that trail that you maybe didn't know were there. So pretty cool feature there. POIs coming to all tiers right now. Second new feature is going to be offline areas. So this one is going to be starting at the premium tier and then moving up into the peak tier availability there. So if you're on basic level, you're not going to have the offline areas. There's still offline maps, but offline areas makes things a little bit, it kind of falls in between downloading a specific trail and downloading an entire park. So what this is going to do is let you kind of select an area. So I really like this feature. It's similar to things like with Google Maps. You can download an offline maps for an area. So you can pick a region that you are going to be camping in, or that you know of, or you're traveling to somewhere and you want to say, I don't know where I'm going to hike, but I know I'm going to be in this, you know, this range, this 20-mile area, or whatever it is. So you can kind of grab that whole thing. It'll download all of it, all the trails, all the information that you would need to go hiking on that. Same as if you were connected and live, showed up at the trail and picked it on the spot. But you can download all that ahead of time. So if you do happen to be offline when you're hiking, you have all your information right there. So it's a really cool feature. Gives it, again, much like the 3 tiers of pre-memberships through AllTrails, this new feature kind of gives you an option to kind of find detail, download specific trails, download a park that you're going to be visiting, or an entire area for hiking in the future. So let's get to the next feature. Now we're getting to the features that are locked to the peak tier of the AllTrails membership. And the first one we're talking about is community heat maps. This one I think is really, really cool. So think of this similarly to when you're driving down the highway and you've got traffic turned on your maps. So you can kind of see when an area is getting congested. So as you're pulling up to an area there's a lot of traffic or slowdowns, the color of the road may be red or orange or something like that. So this is very similar to that. Community heat maps is a tool that has been available for a couple years to land managers to kind of help them know how much certain trails are being used, areas that people are going that maybe they should consider adding a trail if there isn't an official one there. So that feature has been around for a while. AllTrails is expanding this, improving it, making it user-friendly for everybody, and it's called Community Heat Maps. So when you look at community heat maps, it's an overlay to your traditional trail map that you're going to be looking at normally. So when you look at this and you turn this feature on, it uses different shades of purples and pinks to illustrate how many people are in a certain area and how many people are going to be hiking on that trail. So the darker the color, the more people, the lighter the color, fewer people are using it. It's a really neat feature. So you can kind of use this in a bunch of different ways as a user. So we've already talked about how land managers are using this, but as a user, you could take this. So if you want to be hiking around a bunch of people, you feel like being social, go to the areas where it's darkest. If you want to kind of avoid people and do a little more of a solo hike by yourself, go where it's lighter. Really cool idea there. Also, it's kind of an interesting thing, you know, kind of think of other ways you could use this. You know, if you're hiking with somebody and somebody gets hurt and you want to run to get help real quick, maybe you don't have cell service. you'd be able to look at your offline heat map and see where a lot of people typically are, and maybe go there and maybe find some help, or somebody who has signal or a way to contact help from there. So it's a cool way to use that. Plan out where you're gonna go. It's updated periodically, so it is not a live heat map, but it's updated frequently enough, and they're gonna increase the update frequency to allow for more real-time data in the future. But as it stands now, I think it's a fantastic feature. It's really helpful to a lot of people, whether they're just getting started or have been hiking for years and want to kind of explore some new areas. So let's check out the next one. Our next new feature is called Trail Conditions. Now this one is really cool as well. It's a great planning tool. Whether you're planning in advance or right before you leave the door, it's a great tool, and is what this is gonna do. So they've had some features in the app for a while that'll let you kind of see the weather for the day or whatever, and like kind of different times of day and how it may affect you on your hike. So they're expanding that and making it more detailed. So it's pulling 15 different weather points hourly to give you really, really precise weather data when you're gonna be hiking. So when you're looking at your trail map, you can actually scrub, so drag the line across the hours to see how the weather's gonna change different times of the day. And you can see, they even have a map, you can see the weather coming through, see where it's gonna be rough at. But even better, as you go through, you can check the weather at different elevations. So you can kind of tell what that's gonna be, because obviously as you higher, and you're gonna get different experiences as you move up the mountain or up the hill or trail or wherever you're going. So it's kind of cool, so you can see that as well. In addition to that, you can say if you're going to be hiking, you're going to start your hike at 8 and you plan on being at the peak around noon. You can have that hourly weather forecast in there and see the conditions as you move. Along with that, the trail conditions, as it sounds. It will tell you the trail conditions you could expect. So as you move up the mountain, there may be snow. It can give you an idea of how much snow you could expect as you get up there. It can tell you the ground type, whether it's going to be gravel or mud or asphalt, or who knows what you're going to come into contact up there. It can be, as you meet midway up the mountain, it's gonna be muddier because the snow's melting up top. So it's really cool. Gives you an idea of what you're gonna expect while you're out there hiking, from the trail itself, the materials you're gonna be hiking on, the type of ground you can expect. So you can plan for your shoes, whether you need to take a good grip shoe for some mud, you need to take micro spikes for some snow and ice. Let you plan all that out before you even walk out the door. So it's a really cool feature. Trail conditions, that'll be coming up with the peak level of membership. So on to the next one. Custom routes is the next new feature that peak users will be able to access. So while you've been able to kind of plan out your routes for a few years now on the app, you can kind of pick where you're going to go. If you want to start to one point and then jump to a different route or a different trail, you can kind of plan that out before you go. That's been around for a while. So what they're doing now is expanding this by adding a little more granular and free use of picking your routes, as well as some new features that'll kind of throw in some AI into it, because there's got to be AI. But I think AllTrails is using this really well in this instance to keep the technology as something that enhances the outside rather than becomes the main focus of going outside. So with custom trails, you can still do like you've done before and kind of pick your different parts of the trail and map it out as you want. You can also literally just draw on the map where you want to go, and the AllTrails platform will go in and create a trail for you that can get you to point A to B on the path that you drew out the best it can. So that's really neat there. You can just draw your trail on there. It's really cool. The other thing you can do is use the AI feature and have it give you a smart route. So you can pick a route that you want to get from point A to point B and how you want to get there, but perhaps you're not sure if you want to handle that much elevation. You want it more of a flat route. So you can use the AI, you can tell it to reduce elevation. You can change features. You can say more POIs, take me to those. You can choose some POIs, points of interest on the map, and ask the route to take you on a trail that will let you hit those different POIs, even if they're on different trails initially. So it's a really cool feature to allow people to customize their routes just the way they want them. That's coming out soon, or it's coming out with the launch today on May 12th. So you can expect to start using that and get some custom trails going. You can save the trails for later. So you can go out and take that. If you kind of come across one that you didn't expect to be as good as it was, you're like, wow, I loved it, save it. You didn't, trash it. On to the next feature. All right, the last new feature is Outdoor Lens. So this is going to function similar to what you may have already experienced using things like Google Lens. So what this is built into the AllTrails app, and this is one that they've worked on themselves. They're not using Google Lens for this. They did partner with another firm for some of the back end part of it. I wasn't able to find out who, but this is not Google Lens rewrapped for AllTrails. So keep that in mind. But what this is going to do is much like what you'd expect it to, an outdoor lens. So you can go out there, and right now, as it launches, when it launches this summer, sorry, this one is coming a little bit later this summer. When it launches, it's going to have the ability to identify plants, trees, moss, different, foliage and things like that you're going to encounter while on the trail, but also insects. Those are the two areas that they're going to be able to use it for right now. So be able to look it up. While that isn't anything necessarily unique in its own right, what I do think is really neat is when you use it to look at something and identify a plant, it actually will tell you the probability, the percentage of how correct it thinks it is. So it may say it's 98%, and you can be pretty sure what it's looking at is accurate. But it will still show you another option. Say it could be 1% chance of this and 1% this, or it could be 50% here and then 25. Much like Google Lens will show you multiple options for what it thinks it could be. The nice thing is it actually kind of gives you an idea of how accurate it could be on this thing. How accurate the accuracy prediction is, I don't know, but it's a cool idea and a cool feature to add into it to kind of give you a little more peace of mind that what you're looking at is actually the thing that it thinks it is. So with that, it also has a logbook. So if you happen to be offline, you take a picture, you don't have a way for it to process, because it does have to send this photo to the cloud and able to do the process, and it isn't done locally. But if you're offline, you take this photo, you can't find out what it is. Once you get online, it'll notify you, hey, I've identified this photo, I know what this thing is, here's what it is. So that is a cool feature, part of that. So you do happen to be offline, you can still use the outdoor lens feature and get the information once you get back to the connected world. So that's what's coming right now. They are planning on doing expansion to some more identification objects where it's going to be animals. They're even working on things like landmarks, so you can take a picture off in the distance that say there's a mountain in the distance, you're not sure which that is, you can take that photo and it's going to be able to help identify that. So that's really cool. You'll be able to save all your photos in your logbook, upload them to AllTrails if you'd like, keep them in your own personal logbook for reviewing later. Really cool feature. I think it's nice, kind of way to enjoy the outdoors and learn more about it while you're out there on the trail. When you see stuff, you're not real sure what it is. So before I wrap everything up, I want to leave you some videos and sounds from the hike in the Catskills Mountains. It was raining, but it was a fantastic hike, beautiful scenery, and just gorgeous sounds out there. So all in all, I think that what AllTrails is doing is really great. It's not an app that I use frequently, as it is focused primarily on hiking. And living in Kansas here, there's not a ton of hiking opportunities. The ones that there are, I'm pretty familiar with, so I don't necessarily need the app. But it is a great tool. I like to take it with me when I travel places that I don't know where I'm not real familiar with. I'll take the app and load it up there and see what I can do to get outside and go enjoy the area that I'm in. So it's a cool way to explore areas that you're not familiar with and do it safely and feel confident in where you're going and what you could see while you're out there to see if it's even worth going to you. So it's a really cool idea. I love AllTrails' approach to land conservation and how they're working with different communities to help improve, maintain, and keep trails in the outdoors available to everybody. It'd be very easy just to kind of show this stuff off and get people out there, but not help maintain the trails and find ways to keep, making the process of hiking and being outdoors sustainable. While I was there, we spoke with many different people in different aspects of the outdoors, from different conservation groups to shop owners, and hearing how a lot of the things going on today is affecting their job, affecting volunteers, affecting the trails in every area. So it's good to see a company like AllTrails that promotes people getting out there, also promotes the maintenance and sustainability of these things to keep everything as good as we can and pristine as we can for nature, so every generation continue to enjoy it. So those are some of the great things I liked about that. Meeting everybody at the event was fantastic. The AllTrails group were great people. The different organizations that were there to help inform us on the features and inform us about sustainability and land maintenance. The other groups that helped put on the event, the PR groups, the on-site, the staff at the lodge. The trip was fantastic. Thank you to AllTrails for inviting me and the other parts of media out there. The new features that AllTrails is introducing to the basic, premium, and the new peak tier, I think are great and are going to get better with time. The more people use them, and I think it's going to be a fun tool to use. So hope you've enjoyed the video. Get outdoors, use AllTrails, check it out. Got more videos coming, so stick around. Appreciate you watching this one. Thanks.